Hello, I'm Robin Gibson, and this is the Harvard House Money Morsel. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so you get a notification of when we release a new video. I'm sitting with Willie Pelser. Welcome, Willie.
Hi, Robin.
So, Willie, yesterday the governor of the Reserve Bank raised our interest rates another 50 basis points, 0.5%. I think a lot of us are starting to feel the pain now around the country. But one of the surprising things with this is that the rand actually blew out to new low levels. That's kind of unusual when we've raised interest rates in the past. Can you kind of tell us what's happening and give us some color into maybe the rand, if anyone can do that?
Yeah, Robin, probably one of those things I don't know what face to put on. You put a somber face on or a sort of happy face in the sense this might be the end. But yeah, the Reserve Bank sort of shocked the market to some extent by doing the 50 basis points hike again. And as you say, for not just for the average man in the street, now everybody is starting to feel this pain. Normally at the Fed, people analyze the minutes and they go through sort of line by line and they count number of words and so on. So two things stood out for me yesterday in this announcement. I didn't have to wait for the minutes. He said it. The one was the 50 basis point up is now restrictive. Come back to that. And the second thing he said, which made my eyes pop and my ears going like this, when he said the rand has potential to weaken further.
Wow. Okay.
That statement pushed the rand.
Okay.
Exactly when it happened, the rand moved. So, and I think the market remembers, and hopefully we don't go there. Under the Stolz era, we were trying to protect the rand,
Yes.
and we raised interest rates frequently, and
I remember.
we hit 25.5% type of thing. So that triggered the event on the rand itself. But let's just come back to the concept of this is now restrictive. So as we all know, the Reserve Bank has a mandate. They look at the inflation. Inflation did come out, both readings, the CPI, consumer, and the producer price index came out. And they were better than previous and better than what the market sort of anticipated. So to some extent, the 50 points was a surprise given the stats that came out on inflation. The concern is the word restrictive, because we all know interest rates are hurting, load shedding is hurting. So the impact now will be felt through the economy in the sense of the engine will probably grind to a halt, if I can say that, because this is now penalizing you to actually find extra money to service debt or to service normal expenditure, because food inflation is still high, so your basket is more expensive. So yeah, the concern, if we go higher on interest rates, is what is the interest rate impact on the economic growth engine, and then that is restrictive as we are. So in that, he probably signaled that maybe this is the last, but to forecast that now is a rolling forecast. So, but back to the rand, yes, that comment hurt the currency. And obviously the currency is still in this sort of free fall environment. We've spoken about it, the Russian, or the idea that we've sold weapons to Russia and so on and so on. Plus, what we mustn't forget is the dollar is substantially strong at this point in time. So the mechanism of the rand is complex. Michael also spoke about the impact of the trade balance and income from our expenditure on imports, and then our exports are not happening in that. So it's a complex beast, but at the moment it's driven by sentiment.
Yes.
That is, and it came through the comment yesterday. So the complexity of the rand, if one look at the normal scenario of what is your interest rate differential and your inflation differential. Now in America, interest rates have gone up by 5. We've gone up 4.75. The Fed is indicating that they're not finished.
Yes.
So to keep that sort of differential, already the market is asking the question, will the Reserve Bank just continue so that at least on a differential perspective, we're not out of line?
Yes.
Because what we actually want is for money to come back. So how do you do that? Yes, you raise your level of interest rate to make it, to get money back into the system. Yes. But we can't afford to do that. So hopefully the Fed will stop, and we can stop, and we can work on that. And then the currency is supposed to follow an inflation differential. Now, funny enough, inflation in the US is much higher than inflation in South Africa. So you would expect the rand to strengthen under a scenario, or any currency, because our inflation is lower than their inflation. But unfortunately, that dynamic is not setting in at the moment. So back to the point, the rand's driven by sentiment right now.
Yes.
Okay.
So in everything you're saying, what you're actually suggesting is that there's potential as the dust settles that the rand could strengthen. We don't need to slit our wrists completely.
Yeah, Robin, we've got those examples. There's four major ones historically. If you draw a long-term chart on the rand, you get these wild outswings, and then the rand tends to start following the market dynamics in the sense of flow of funds, interest rate, inflation differential. So as we sit right now, that looks bleak, but I'm not saying the rand will strengthen and go back to 16 as we sit.
Yes.
But the potential of the rand getting to a better level on economic fundamentals, yes, will set in at some point in time. So
Awesome.
don't rush for offshore normally at the weakest level. I think
Yes.
that is the message.
Yeah, that's a good message. Willie, thank you so much for giving us some color in that. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.